Hi guys, I'm Megan, and I'm here watching our favorite alt-right neo-Nazi, Steven Crowder. We're going to be talking to protesters, talking to the protesters who are protesting the protesters, and also filming the actual event. So, enjoy.
Great. I hope that might be it. Huh? Me? Just film.
Do any of you guys want to talk about your signs? I'm with Independent Media. It's just my YouTube channel. Just a political YouTube channel. I'm filming all different perspectives with the protesters, counter-protesters, and just the actual event itself. All four of them. Does anybody want to talk about their sign?
These aren't our signs.
Oh. Does anybody want to talk about their sign?
It's not my sign.
Anybody want to talk about their sign?
I mean, it's not my sign specifically, but I really resonate with it. I just don't, I wouldn't mind, the fact that, Crowder was in, because, the last time he came here, he was in a space, over there by the flagpole, and it was a more general open space that, he would be able to speak freely and stuff like that, but the fact that he is, basically, what he is saying is, pretty much hate, hating against certain groups of people. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the fact that he's getting this, this grand, space in the McFarland Auditorium to be able to say what he, usually says.
So you would just prefer him to have a smaller space?
Yeah, even not so smaller, just a more general, a place where everyone can talk. Just not so grand as McFarland Auditorium.
They had to do that because actually more people wanted to come, and the head count was getting so there were so many people, and they had to move to a bigger auditorium.
I still don't agree. If I wouldn't even mind that they were in huge trig. It's still a place where a lot of speakers come to talk about their political side and things like that. McFarland Auditorium is just so grand a space, to really, that I just don't agree with the fact that he's basically presenting in there with his hate speech.
Okay. And what is hate speech?
Hate speech is basically just, his opinions, which are hateful against certain groups of people. He is, basically said in the past that, there's only two genders, that there's no such thing as transgender people. So it's just it's just discrimination against certain groups of people.
Okay, thank you. Nobody wants to talk about their signs with me, except for one person. She's very brave.
Crowder. My friend's gonna freak out because he's the biggest Crowder fan of all time.
We are here, and you guys are the only people talking to me about your signs. So thank you.
Gotta talk.
Okay, so what are you guys doing here, the three of you, and what do your signs mean and say?
This is our first one.
Obviously want Four Locos back. The original one was the best. We all know it. It's a fact. Everyone wants...
Facts don't care about your feelings.
It's true, but everyone wants Four Locos back, the original ones. Ones right now, they're all right, but not as good as the original
ones.
They
don't have caffeine in them. You gotta put Red Bull in it.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
Okay. And what are you guys doing here to counter their protest?
We had cigars.
Yeah, we had some cigars, and we thought it was kind of.
We're letting them know about what the good word is.
Show them the back.
Yeah. Also, let Josh Allen. He is potential to be the best quarterback in the draft right now.
Okay.
He should be drafted first overall. Okay. Cleveland should look at him. He's a rocket arm, born winner. Tall. He's 6'5". He's tall. He's as tall as Cam Newton. People don't realize that. He's big hands. We want him.
Okay, this is great. I love it. Just a good, nice troll protest. Doesn't get much better than that, people. It really doesn't.
You're fucking a white male!
I have done my research.
Okay, hi, what's your name?
Connor.
Okay, and what are you doing here watching Steven Crowder? Are you here in support? Are you here in opposition?
Just listening. I watch him on YouTube. He seems like a good guy, so I just came to see. I knew he was doing a live show. Really funny dude, by the way, so it's more of a comedy show, I would say.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Patrick Norwood.
Okay, and what are you doing here? Are you here in support or opposition?
I'm
of
here
Steven?
as a neutral. I'm just here to listen and hear what's going on. I don't really listen to Crowder that much, but I know about him, and I just want to hear what he has to say today.
Okay, awesome. So you're just here for a different perspective and to hear all points of views?
Right.
Doesn't get much better than that, people.
Like those protesters out there, being offended, and I think I've heard Ricky Gervais talk about this now, he doesn't realize that freedom of speech is uniquely American. They don't have it in the UK, and it was created by crazy religious people, the idea of inalienable rights. So remember who your friends are, leftists who are giving silence. Being offended doesn't mean you're right. And I say this because of the protesters out there. A good portion of them, by the way, started protesting. It all started, let's bring this up, started with this guy, a professor, not even from SMU, from UT Arlington. He said, let's protest Steven Crowder. He brought up false memes that were used against me by actual neo-Nazis for irony.
Punchline, he teaches logic.
He teaches logic at UT Arlington, yet to get an apology. The neo-Nazis thought I was Jewish. Apparently 6'2", 220 didn't tip him off, it wasn't likely. And then, when they found out I wasn't Jewish, they started creating all these fake, like, nary an iron cross or swastika to be found, despite the Photoshop tattoo swastikas. This professor bought it, and he started spreading these false memes saying, let's send it to the registrar's office and the dean, and get this guy banned. Now here's the thing, if you want to ban me for telling some jokes tonight, like rapey Joe Biden or the human sundial, fine. My half Asian lawyer Bill Richmond's coming up. There's going to be a lot of racist humor there too. You want to ban me for that? But don't ban me for something that I didn't say. And that's what we're seeing happening increasingly. And this is kind of the macro point I wanted to get to. Some examples. This man and his colleagues were offended. Let's go through kind of the offense, right, and how they're granted the moral high ground and what the ramifications are. You've heard me talk about this, right? This sort of victim culture where everyone's looking to be the latest, biggest victim. And unintentionally, they create real victims. And that's what we see here, be it through legislation or through actual life-altering ramifications. So this man and his colleagues, they were offended by something I didn't say. Then he demanded action against all of us, by the way, all of us who make our living up here. Nake Jarrett, Sven Computer, Sound Guy Edward, we have Gerald Morgan, of course we have Courtney, Casey, Brodigan, Sound Guy Edward, I think I said, Aaron, the intern, dressed as Wonder Woman, a lot of you liked him doing that. All these people make a living from this show. So in this case, this guy was caught. But if we didn't have people who were employed as researchers professionally, he might not have been caught. And the truth is that being offended, not only does it not make you right, what disturbs me is when media and Hollywood, they just rush. They rush to grant these people the moral high ground, the progressive left. They want to grant the moral high ground to the person or minority group of the day who claims to be the most oppressed. They want to rush to their defense, give them the moral high ground, just because they're claiming to be offended, regardless of legitimacy. And that's important. First off, you can be offended. You don't have the right for me to care about it. And it can still mean that your offense is completely illegitimate. We see this outrage culture all the time.